So I was just out for my morning walk with the dogs. Here's the dogs. There's Ollie and there's Rudy. And while I was walking through the park here, reading my book, a gentleman came the other way across and he asked me, we passed and I said, good morning. He said, good morning. And he got about 3 steps beyond and he turned around and he said, what book are you reading? And so I turned around and talked to him. I said, well, I'm reading The Lives of a Cell by Lewis Thomas. And we got into a little discussion and he asked me if I had a background in biology and my interest in biology, and I said I did. And well, at least I studied it in school, and mostly just an interest. So we got to chatting a little bit, and turns out he's a computer software engineer, and I'm in the IT industry as well. So we had a nice talk. So that was kind of pleasant how, seeing someone reading a book can open the door for a little bit of a discussion. So I've done something new here. Put the book down for a second. I've got another book here. This little black book. Not that kind of little black book. And I recorded in here, began to record the thoughts that I wanted to talk about. Because I was doing that on the phone and in the iPhone's reminders app. But I realized very quickly that I couldn't read it. I couldn't read what was in there after I'd written it down. So I wrote it down, and I got a little moleskin journal, which are and I can put it in there. So the first one was something called tsundoki. Oh, hi Sorapi. Tsundoki. It's a Japanese word, and apparently it means the collecting of books that you don't read. Which I found interesting. So Google suggested this word to me. How interesting to collect books that you actually don't read. So to have stacks and stacks of them where the hobby is like tchotchkes of some sort, or maybe Beanie Babies or whatever, just to have around but without actually reading them. Tsundoki. Apparently the word goes back quite a long time. It's been around in Japan for quite a while. But leave it to the Japanese to come up with interesting words and ideas. The next one is the immune response and the individual. In the book, The Lives of the Cell, I was reading a section the day before yesterday about, come here boys, there's a gentleman coming, about, and he was describing autonomy and what makes biological animals, of course, individuals, and plants as well. What constitutes the individual, and versus why, for example, here on life on Earth are we all of these various things? The plants and the animals, the birds chirping, the dogs on the ground, the people walking around in the park. Why are we like that, rather than just a thin cytoplasm of not cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the one. I was going to say ectoplasm. That's supernatural. A thin cytoplasm of goo covering the surface of the earth, or at least sliming over the bottom of the ocean. Why are we that? Why are we individuals rather than that? And he was hypothesizing that it's the fact of our immune capabilities, that I think they're called antigens, and antigens are whatever our immune system can recognize as a foreigner in our system, and then attack and subsume and engulf and get rid of. So that keeps us autonomous, right, by our body's ability to have an immune response. Basically makes us who we are. What an interesting idea. And that basically weaknesses in that system, or dropping the guard and allowing outsiders in, is what gives the opportunity for the advancement of simple cells. For example, the very cell itself may be composed, and it is obviously composed, of subordinate elements that were independent organisms, like the mitochondria in the cells of animals and the chloroplasts in the cells of plants, right? Were basically, probably, you know, I just realized that I wonder if they were one and the same at one time. If mitochondria and chlorophyll, were one and the same at one point, and then they diverged in some way. That would make a lot of sense with both the energy producers and animals. Well, what an interesting idea that we may own our immune systems. We may owe our independence and individuality to our immune systems. There's a couple comments here. I believe the pattern of neurons make up consciousness. I believe that's the case, yeah. I don't think there's any reason to think that consciousness is anywhere else, and you know, I don't think it's connected to anywhere else, and I don't think that consciousness is necessarily will survive us and go on, right? The concept of the soul seems a very weak concept indeed. Alagos, well, that's a name. Vordornus? I'll never forget the abandoned temple in the mountains of Japan 10 years ago, paradise. Was that the one where I had to cross the river to get to? Or was that the one that I found by butting off of an old farm, like at the end of a farm road and butting off the road, trying to make a shortcut down to the village of Yui to get home in time, trying to get home before the sun went down. I found it. That was a temple, or was it a shrine? I don't know. And this Sunny Side Up says, I was wondering why are us humans focused on so much of the negative? I don't know. We certainly are. You're right. I focus a lot on the brevity of life, just because it really fascinates me. I don't view it as negative, but I know what you mean about, you know, the news is always the downer side, right? Denny Setup continues, once I go down the negative path in my mind, I start thinking about positive things of that day. Well, that's good that you can take control like that. A lot of us can't do that. Agalo says, old dusty temple by the road, could hear the cars, very beautiful. Tiny shrine with 2 help buildings near. Rain chains. That's not ringing a bell. The one by the river, that was a shrine. You're saying it was a temple. Interesting. I don't know which one that was. I don't quite remember, but I'm glad that you liked it. Well, anyway, I just thought I'd start up for a second. I covered my 2 topics. That means I can cross them out and add more. And Pedari Maiden, sorry, says, I need to go back to your old abandoned videos. I tend to go back to your old abandoned videos when I feel down. There's something serene in them. Wow, really? I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad that they're still up there. There was something serene and actually experiencing them as well. Thanks. Okay, everybody. Well, have a good day. I'm going to finish the walk of the dogs and then go home. I did all my chores yesterday, but I've got some work. I still have some work to do today, and then hopefully have a nice day with the family. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Remember, the path of wildness is easy to find. The course of a stream. Leaves blown in the wind, a beast's track through the brush, and the direction of your first inclination. Oh, and DJ Sunnyside Up says, how much money did you make off of that Suzume Bachi Sting video? You mean the one that I held it, my pet Suzume Bachi, that one? I think I made at least $1,000 off of that one. I don't know. I could go back and look at the analytics, I think, but it did well. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, wait a minute. One last thing I want to show you. My first day to wear my new shirt. This is, I follow a guy named, God, no, I can't remember, Dave. I think his name is Dave. Does it say? Dave, so I can't, if you can read that right there. Dave, and he's got this website called Dying Out Loud. Anyway, he's got LMS and a few years to live, and so he's making the best of use of these remaining years that he's got, and he's got this T-shirt that he created. And I love the quote: we have 2 lives. The second one begins when we realize we just have one." And it's by Mario de Andrade. I can't quite read that. I think he's from Brazil or Portugal or something like that. And anyway, I got this shirt. It's my first day to read it. I support Dave in his endeavor. I think Dave might be coming to Los Angeles soon. If he does, I hope I can come to see him speak. Anyway, I saw a couple more comments. Okay, nice shirt. Oh, I'm glad you like the shirt. Thank you. And all right. Oh, you're in Kochi, Japan. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.